Isaac, how are you?
Hey, Uzrad, how are you?
Sorry for being a few minutes late.
It's all good. It's all good. Just glad you're here.
I was on another important call.
Oh yeah, business stuff and all that. All right. So, welcome to the official podcast this time. Glad to have you on here. So, a couple things first, this can go as long as you want, or as long as you need to. It can be as short as you want it to. Uh, as long as I just want to cover, we'll talk about you again, your career, and then we'll talk about your Unity. Because I have a few questions here because I read the investor deck and I got some notes here of a couple things I want to ask you. So
Go ahead.
first things first. You told me about yourself last time. If you want to, reiterate your journey to how you got here. Starting from college.
Yeah, so I started college in a more advanced age because I came from the military on a leave of absence, actually. I was
Really?
an officer in the IDF, Israeli Defense Forces, the intelligence. And I came to UCLA on a leave of absence, kind of assignment for 2 years. And after 2 years, and by the way, when I came, being 24, 25 at the time, there was a huge cultural gap between me and the American students, especially, when we are all freshmen in
Mm-hmm.
UCLA, and I'm 24 after a war, okay, fighting in a war and really fighting in a war and military operations and decision-making issues and stuff. You may understand that UCLA looked to me a bit weird. But I kind of immersed myself pretty easily in the university system. I loved it. I enjoyed it. Um, School was pretty easy for me, except the English at that time. I came with a very good English, but I didn't really use it on a day-to-day basis. So it was hard for me to understand the jokes, and it was interesting. And then I went back to the military for a few years, and then I decided I don't want to continue to a military career, which was pretty up, almost guaranteed to me, but I didn't want to. And I went back to LA, and I was accepted um, by Pepperdine University to do, I think it was called the Key Executive Program. It's kind of an executive MBA, but full time. Not only that, in this specific program, they did something that they do only on PhDs, and you had to write a thesis and defend it. The MBA there was 18 months, and for 8 months, actually, and it was about 40% of your graduation mark. So, and I enjoyed it a lot. And from there, I worked in a small investment bank in Beverly Hills. And after a few years, I went back to Israel, and I founded a small investment bank in Israel, which was really kind of coming out of the blue. But with a very strong partner at the time. He was the ex-mayor of Tel Aviv, the most important city in Israel, business-wise. Okay, Jerusalem is more important, but business-wise, Tel Aviv is the center of everything. And he was a renowned guy that has, networks to investors all over the world. And at the age of 36, with him together, but I was the founder and the initiator. I had my first fund. It was $30 million at the time. And it was the first ever fund that in Israel the Middle East as a whole that dealt with agro-technologies, with agricultural technologies. And $30 million at that time are like a $500 million fund now.
Yeah.
Excellent investors. And then from there, I at a certain point, we sold the fund and I left the company, and I wanted to do more things by myself. And I felt that, a holding company with 10 partners and stuff was kind of almost blocking me from moving ahead. And I was chosen by the World Bank and by the Palestinian government at that time as the chief financial advisor. I saw it as a mission. I didn't look at it merely as a position or a job.
Mm-hmm.
And these were very different times than now. It's the golden kind of ages of the Israeli and the Palestinians, cooperation. And after a while, and there was a war between Israel and Palestinian Authority, Second Intifada. Of course, I resigned at that time. As an Israeli, I didn't feel that I could do it.
Yeah.
And I moved back to advisory, doing everything from M&A to asset management to special operations or special missions, especially. And I moved to London. And at that time, I became an advisor and later on a principal with a mega fund at that days, $300 million, side-by-side investments of another $250 to $300 million, a big fund.
Yeah.
And I put it together, was vice chairman of the fund, so I also had an executive position there. We managed it from London and Cairo. We invested in the Middle East. And we were lucky to finish the vesting just before the Arab Spring happened. I lived at London at the time, and after a while, I decided to move back to LA. And in the meantime, I got divorced and so on. Life
All
happened.
that stuff. Yeah.
And I fell in love with an amazing lady that is now my wife. And I moved to LA, and I was pretty bored. I did some deals, some real estate, some advisory things, but I wasn't really feeling that I'm fulfilling myself. And I'm not the kind of guy who will just settle for that. So after a while, I just started thinking about Younity. We had a different name at the time, and I invested the first 2 years were mainly research. And research in Younity's case is, it's a blessing in disguise, because first of all, you have to invest a lot of money in research. Research is super expensive, but at the same time, you don't have to dig too much by yourself, because the issue, kind of the financial disintegration of the middle class, or the very poor conditions or situation of the middle class, it's such a popular thing that from universities to thought leaders to top Nobel laureates, I mean, you can find tens of millions of pages, and I'm not exaggerating. I think every year you have 10, 20 new titles that are only dealing with that. All or most of them are dealing with the problem. Not one of them that I know of dealt with the solution. And 6 years later, we are here with the with the technology design done, with the kind of the operational structure of the company defined. we still have things to do, and we are about to start our next fundraising round, and basically within 6 to 8 months, I want us to launch. If it will take a year, just because things are now very different, especially with what happens on the AI front. We are an AI company, and the opportunities that are open to cut certain development processes shorter and cheaper. We may get to launch before, but we can also, because our business model, if you look at it from a bird's eye view, kind of from the envelope side, it's very simple, very straightforward. When you dive into it, there are thousands of moving parts, and this is where we are now.
Nice. So what is your guys' business model?
We are dealing with the financial disintegration of the middle class. The core issue there are many, but the core kind of reason for everything that we see is the financial illiteracy. Financial illiteracy, when you hear the word illiteracy, you understand that it's all about knowledge gap. And when you hear knowledge gap, you say, okay, so let's educate the people. Let's send them to extracurriculum classes. Let's send them videos. Let's put them on an app that will do this and will do that. All of this has happened, and since then, nothing has happened to the middle class. You don't see any improvement whatsoever, not even a marginal one, not even an insignificant one. On the contrary, since people have started writing about it, we have seen a substantial, exponential deterioration in the numbers, okay? And the numbers are mind-boggling. They are like, they don't make any sense mathematically, but this is the truth. So we understood immediately that because 80% or more of the middle class in America, 250 million people, 80% of them are living paycheck to paycheck. So this is enough. I can bring you, dozens of more pieces of data that some of them are catastrophical. You just look at them and you understand how catastrophic they are. But this one is enough, because what happens is that if this is the situation, then most of the middle class is basically on some kind of survival mode. And when you're on survival mode, you're not going to do extracurriculum classes, and you'd rather, go to bed or sit in your living room and scroll reels or whatever to take the stress of the day off your shoulders. You are not going to now listen to a frontal or whatever, animation episode or whatever that will teach you how to become more capable, financial decision maker. Okay.
Yeah, people don't want to grow, basically.
Yes. Plus, we understood that because you're so intuitive in such situations, we have to create a situation where we create some kind of a guardian angel that will be with you 24/7, 365. Full meaning of the word. 2 a.m. you want to talk to him, you have to be able to talk. And by the way, financial nightmares appear usually in these hours of the day. Okay, when you are resting and you're not running around with your own business or with your assignment as an employee of a company, and you are just, we're just trying to basically put everything together. 2 o'clock at night, suddenly the mortgage, the old mother that we have to take care of, God forbid, a disease in the family, relocation, divorce, whatever, everything happens at night. And we wanted to create a situation that you can literally pick up the phone and say, hey, REVO, what's going on? Let me tell you, I'm very worried about this. I'm very worried about that. And you'll get answers. Not necessarily advice, but first of all, answers, directing you, becoming, we wanted the AI wizard. We understood immediately that we are actually an AI company. And the other reason for it was that we didn't want this buffer to even potentially be exposed to any conflicts of interest. Okay? A guy like that, let's say that if we had a human factor there, a guy like that would be probably stolen by other companies in no time because of the capabilities that he develops. So thinking about the fact that, nobody can make an offer to REVO. REVO will never leave you. And REVO is objectively and intentionally defined and designed that he will be on your side all the way. Plus, he is never going to sell you anything. The minute he sells you something, he is in inherent conflict of interest with you. Because he wants to sell you something and he's ready to kind of tweak and disrupt your real financial capabilities in a way that will convince you to use his app or buy the financial product or service that he's offering you. He's trapping you, basically.
Yeah, corrupt.
So that's what we do. You started by attending to a meeting with REVO. REVO has a voice. Later on, he will also become a mascot, but you will be able to decide if you want him as a mascot in front of you. But physically, it's a big screen, huge screen, that is is in a dedicated room in the Younity, in the REVO location. We call him REVO, but we also call the location REVO. And you come there, you cannot do it online. The first meeting has to be there. And later on, most of our services could be approached online. We recruit people on the street because the middle class is on the street. You don't have to look for it online and start spending, mind-boggling amounts in order to win the customer acquisition, competition. Customer acquisition costs became ridiculous these days. And thousands, I'm telling you, thousands of fintech companies went under mainly just because of that.
Wow.
So this is what we do in a nutshell.
Nice. So is REVO going to be more kind of like an app, like Siri or Alexa, or is it going to be an integrated program into like your bank accounts and your subscriptions and your investments and stuff like that?
Excellent question. We look at REVO as a platform. And he's your guardian angel, but he's also your guide. I call him expert in experts. Also, to avoid issues with regulators, he's never going to be a financial advisor. Okay, he will direct you to the financial advisor. What he will do, he will basically raise the red flags because we want him to eliminate almost to zero a situation where you are making intuitive decisions that lead to harsh mistakes, and harsh mistakes in the financial arena are many times irreversible, or at least partially irreversible. Okay? Plus, they hurt your financial abilities. So we want him to say, listen, it's beautiful, but it's not for you. Why? Because in this retirement, insurance package policy, if we're looking at your situation, you have to save in order to optimize, okay, this program that was offered to you, you have to save $750 a month. But when we look at your MRY results, okay, this initial meeting that you do with REVO and that maps your financial being, if we look at this at the bottom line, we see that if you save more than $450, you are shaking the boat. You are really putting yourself into financial trouble potentially. So don't do that. Okay? And that's exactly the contrary of what insurance companies do. Insurance companies, they are not checking your viability or your capacity or your capability financially. They are touching it, and intentionally they are touching it only in places that will not harm their main mission. And their main mission is to trap you, put you in a corner where they can sell you the product or the service. Okay? Yeah. So in a situation like this, they would go exactly the opposite. They will say, listen, I think that $400 is what you can do, but I think it's worth it to kind of tighten up the ship and do 500 or do 550, kind of go above your real ability. So first of all, they never check your real ability in a level of precision that makes sense. Plus, they are looking only at you as a customer for this policy, but your financial being, your financial posture is much more than that. It involves many other factors.
Interesting. Very interesting. So REVO will just it'll be a consultant more so in that sense.
He's a guardian angel. He's a protector. I don't like the word consultant because, again, if I say that he's a consultant, then ridiculously enough, the SEC could come to you and say, what kind of licenses does he have? Does he have 62 series, 63 series? I mean, it can, and we know the systems, the government systems here are so like one-dimensional and very hard to work with. So I'd rather avoid any conflicts with them. And at the same time, I think that we are also working kind of hand in hand with the current situation in the financial markets, where more and more financial advisors of all sorts, planners, accountants, whatever, comes to financial coaches,
investors, all them.
Investors, they are all becoming more and more independent. Many of them are leaving the Morgan Stanleys, the H.R. Block of the world, and they are trying to actually go back to the neighborhoods or to metropolitan kind of communities or areas and work there, become more rooted kind of in the demographics, this specific local demographics.
Yeah.
So we are working with them. We make sure that we also decided that we will be a brick and mortar company because of that. We want the middle class to also have a home, have a house, not go to Starbucks and sit there forever and look for clients or start working on your business, but come to a place where you have the greatest coffee on earth, trust me, on our bar, but at the same time, they will be in a different environment, in a very embracing, inspiring, supportive environment. Not blah, 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 but real support and real caring.
Yeah. So what are the benefits of keeping it like having a flagship centralized location versus having it, nationally where, someone like me in Florida could, sign up for Revo online and then use the services?
I tell you why, because when you're dealing with the disintegration of the middle class, indirectly you're dealing with loneliness. And one of the best ways, and I'm talking here, I'm going to tell you something that is supported by massive statistics and research. One of the best ways to start rehabilitating yourself financially, let alone moving to a new direction, like opening your own business and stuff, is if you create a dialogue or if you are exposed to other people that are in the same situation.
Mm-hmm.
That you have a common language with them, not only because both of you speak English, but because you are facing the same challenges. And this will also kind of take a lot of the emotional burden off your shoulders, because the minute you know and physically see that you are not alone, you become less doubtful about your own ability to face the situation. Number one. Number two, we want to create a situation or an ecosystem more that will be a financial habitat, meaning the sell side and the buy side will be under one roof. Because REVO is actually talking to you and telling you also, in room 106, in your REVO, in your neighborhood or in your city, we have a guy, Tommy Smith, who is an amazing tax advisor. And I think you should see him.
Mm-hmm.
Want me to schedule a meeting? Or if you are there, you want me to see if he's available to come say hello? So we think that online is great, but from the point of view of human relationships, reaction, caring, love, it's terrible. It's
Yeah.
horrible. It actually induces, it expands the loneliness factor.
Yeah. So it's personal for you?
Yeah, at the same time, of course, at the same time, we are offering many services online, okay?
Yeah.
But we want you to come. We want you to be there, okay? So there are a few packages, every membership package, okay? They are, we differentiated them by the number of times per month that you can visit the place. Of course, you can buy more entry passes, but the basic one calls for at least 4 visits a month. And we are also creating events there where we will go over certain issues, current issues, okay? The rates are going up. The market is going through a correction. The problem is that you hear it and you say, okay, what does it have to do with me? Do I have to do anything also to avoid getting financially hurt by these things? So,
Mm-hmm.
um,
So the local community is very important to you?
of course, of course,
Yeah.
we believe that that the local community, at the end, almost by itself, will help us change the current situation. Okay, it starts by the individual, but the local community has a lot of power. Okay, I'll just give you an example. Okay, when you are there and you now start having you start thinking of yourself also as an investor. And there's an idea in the neighborhood to open a small business, could be a body shop, a beauty salon, and this and that. You're going to expose to these things. We are going to present them to you.
Mm-hmm.
So some people enjoy or can work much better, not only enjoy, in a financial situation when they are not the main decision maker, but they have certain rights and they are being protected. Right now, and on the other, from the other side as well, if you are an owner of a small business and you want to expand it, okay, you want to remodel, you want to open the second, franchise. And right now you have actually two options: hard money loan, bank loan. This is what you have. Both of them, you become a slave. No
Mhm.
shackles, but in many ways handcuffed financially in ways that you cannot believe. No way you can change that. No way you can modify it and make it kind of more tailor-made. There's no way. This is what the bank offers. This is what the hard money loan, accepts, and that's it. We are going to be very involved in financing operations like this in a very affordable rate and tailor-made totally to the capacities and capabilities of the guy or the business at hand. Okay, and the reason for it is that any member of Younity, of REVO, has to go through the MRY, this initial, square one thing where your financial being is being mapped
Uh,
with in a high level of precision.
so is there any requirements for people that want to join? Is it going to be called REVO or is it going to be called Younity?
When you join, okay, you join Younity, but the place where you go to is called REVO.
Okay,
So you basically, you don't have, you can be anyone who is part of the middle class.
nice.
Okay, we're not checking, but if REVO finds that you have $4 million in your bank account and you own a mansion in Beverly Hills, he will probably tell you that Younity is not for you.
Yeah,
Okay, but there is no seclusion. You're not going through any kind of a process that say you fit Younity or you don't fit Younity. As long as you are a member of the middle class, okay. And REVO is a smart, machine.
oh yeah,
Or if you are problematic in any way, shape, or form, okay, you will know that. So if
interesting.
we
What
come back to management, let's say that you are a pedophile or a sex offender, okay? Things like that. He will know immediately. He will notify the management, and the management will decide what to do.
Interesting. So like it'll do a full background check on these people.
Yeah, of course. But we're
Nice.
just asking for their permissions, and we are sending them basically on their app or on their file on the app. It will be the only place where this stuff is basically kept.
Yeah, it's
We are
private.
not going to keep a copy. Okay, we are just going to renew the background every 12 months, every 18 months, or something.
Interesting. So you said Revo was very smart. What AI platform are you guys using?
We are not using a certain platform. We are using a few.
Oh,
Some of
nice.
it is proprietary. It's going to be we are using other, okay, coding platforms like Lovable and
Oh, nice.
others, but it's not a specific one.
Nice. It's collaboration, whole network.
Yeah, let me just
Nice.
send an email to my next meeting and ask him to wait for me a few more minutes.
Oh, I got you. What time do you need to be out of here? Because I could
I
expedite.
basically need to leave in like 5 minutes.
Okay, so one big last question. What are a couple of the biggest challenges you're facing right now?
Let me just write him a note real fast.
Gotcha.
One second.
All good.
Okay, so the challenges, our main challenge, I think we have three challenges. First of all, raising money, like every startup, but I've been raising money all my life, although the world is now changing because of AI, and and there are many things, kind of, traditional processes that are changing. Still, it's all about the story, and it's all about what you do, and how good is your design, from the corporate point of view, from the technology point of view, from the revenue, model point of view. And I think Younity is very strong everywhere there. So I'm sure we're going to raise money. Second challenge is hiring people
Yeah.
or getting people involved. At this stage, we are not hiring yet, but we're looking for pivotal people who will work now on an equity basis, but as soon as we fundraise, we'll have the option at least to become full-time executives. So we are worried more on the executive level. And I always say that I will hire people who know how to hire. I am not hiring for them. The minute they get a certain executive responsibility, from that point on, hiring is in their hands. And if I've chosen somebody who doesn't know how to hire, I made a big mistake.
Yeah.
As simple as that. The last challenge is recognition. And it's a huge challenge because, factually, we could have been all over the place in newspapers and this and that. But I believe we should wait with that, or at least do it in a very balanced, kind of modest way before we launch, or at least before we start countdown for the launch,
Yeah.
for the launching. Uh, so recognition in such a situation becomes a bit more of a challenge because I cannot come and tell you, okay, you want to know exactly what we do, go to this and this address and visit the REVO. The REVO is not there yet. So we have to find a way to not disappoint you by telling you the truth and at the same time keeping you glued kind of to your chair because the movie you are watching is like the best movie and it's fast paced, but at the same time you control the pace. Okay, and we are not pushing you in any way, shape, or form. We're not selling you anything. So it's a very different approach to financial advisory as a whole.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So, what do your next 6 months look like when it comes to solving these problems?
Working very hard, 14, 15 hours a day, and
Wow.
keeping my team, in high spirits, which they are all, most of the time, and launching in 6 to 8 months, uh,
Beautiful.
finalizing the fundraising within 3 to 4 months, and
Nice.
taking it from there.
What are your main ways of finding investors?
We just said that just the last meeting that I had before I joined you was about that. We are actually looking more at everybody are invited, of course,
Yeah.
for a negotiation session. It doesn't mean that we just take any money. But we prefer people who are more aware of social impact and something that they are really genuinely, uh, thinking about, concerned about. It could be a foundation, it could be a nonprofit even that invests, it could be a social impact fund, it could be a family office, a private investor who is kind of like, I stopped running after gizmos and now I want to do something meaningful, kind of even legacy wise.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they care.
Yeah. And it's not easy to get to them, but social media, finding the right people to cooperate with, to kind of joint venture with them on that, and so on.
Yeah. Networking and all that.
Yes, networking is what we do all the time. But many times, networking is something that you enjoy, but it doesn't lead you to any specific, kind of constructive situation, I would say.
Yeah.
And you still have to continue doing it because you never know.
Of course. Yeah. You never know who you might meet. Like I've been meeting some great people doing this. It's been awesome. Are
Yes,
you using AI much to find investors?
yes. Also,
Yeah.
not only, but also.
Of
Yeah,
course. Yeah. How are you doing that?
we are working with a few platforms. Some of them are not really good yet. They are just starting to evolve, and some of them are more that are connected to a, a list of hundreds of investors, and they are I tell them what I need, and they basically create a plan, and we kind of send them all our marketing documentation, and sometimes they would even tell us to make certain changes before they are sending it to a
Interesting.
certain group of investors. And from that point on, they do everything. They send them the stuff, they answer questions, and it's beautiful, but it's not there yet.
Yeah. So has it been successful?
No, I haven't started really massive fundraising. We're just playing with ideas, getting prepared.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, because I do something like that. I run kind of like an AI company like that. So I was just, curious to how that world's doing that and all that.
It's
Um,
beautiful on the face of it. When you dig deep into it, it's not there yet.
yeah. What do
I
you
think a
what do you
good
think it needs?
5 years before these platforms are going to work smoothly, and you could really get the result that you are hoping to.
Exactly. Yeah, right now it's really just a tool and you need to know how to use the tool, right? So
Yeah,
it's not a full person yet. But
I
but
have
yeah, I
to
know.
run. I have to leave
Yeah, I
you.
was gonna say, I know you have to go. Is there any chance that you'd be open to another call where we could talk more about, your next steps in fundraising and how you're doing AI and all that? I find that
Sure,
very interesting. Sure.
sure, sure.
All right, perfect.
But
I
we
will.
can do it. We can do it not next week because I'm in a short weekend. I'm in New York the second half of the week. But the week after, like the first or the second week of November, we can definitely schedule something.
Okay, perfect. I can. You want me to send you my link again, and then you could just pick a time on there that works best.
Great.
Perfect. All right, Uzrad. Great talking to
Pleasure.
you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. It's very fun, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. All right.
Okay. Bye bye.
Yes, sir. Bye bye.